One of the huge problems that occurs with dating relationships and even marriages in people's 20s, possibly in the 30s as well, is that it becomes one of two things. Either extraordinarily toxic, this wild, crazy drug of breakups and craziness and intense, mad feelings, maybe crazy sex too. And it's like this drug. It's like this adrenaline high constantly. You're up, you're down, it's wild. Either it's that, or it's a relationship that is bland as hell, that is safe. In the first one, there's extreme connection, extreme feelings. In the second one, there's almost no connection. There's no feelings, but it's safe, it's secure. And these two things become problems down the road because eventually that drug in the crazy relationship, you OD on. You get tired of the roller coaster, the highs, the lows, the loop-de-loops. It wears you out. It becomes exhausting. And you realize, and unfortunately, sometimes it takes 10, 15, 20 or more years to realize how shitty it really becomes. And you OD on that drug. Or in the other case, you go into that relationship because it's safe, but there's no connection. There's no feeling. There's no connection. There's no nothing. And you find yourself longing for more. You find yourself longing to connect. You love the person, right? But there's no like passion or in love or chemistry. It's a marriage of convenience or a relationship of convenience. And again, this can happen in 2 or 3 years, or it could last a very, very long time. But what these two things have in common is eventually you get sick of it. You get sick of the extreme feelings, or you get sick of no feelings. And you find yourself thinking about that lover or those lovers or friends who were interested in you that you passed up. Maybe if you're in the toxic, crazy relationship now, you think about the one who was steady and calm and those guys that liked you, or those women who were just normal and actually loving and kind, but you thought they were boring back then. Back in your 20s, you thought they were boring. Why? Well, we'll get to that in a second. Or if you're in the bland, calm, vanilla, gray walled relationship, you think about those relationships, opportunities where the person was intense and was actually really into you, but it scared you. Why? In both cases, it's because of what you're conditioned to believe love is when you're a child. And it's because of the pain, the fears, and the bullshit beliefs you've been taught about yourself back as a child. All of those messages get imprinted, pressed into the wet cement of your soul, and they drive your understanding of love, and they drive your understanding of self. So it's not just impacting your love relationships, it's impacting your career. All of your decisions in love and all of your decisions in your career are either to a greater or lesser degree being influenced by the fact that you have these core beliefs that aren't helping you. And this isn't just people who came from toxic homes, where you were given the message, even whether you're aware of it or not, that you don't matter, you're not good enough, your feelings don't matter, right? Or where you were told you were shit and you were no good, or you were ignored and neglected. And so in a way, any bit of love that you're getting in a relationship is like, oh my God, this is 10,000 times more than I've ever gotten, even though it's a little fucking teaspoonful, right? And so you're like, I'll take the craziness, and the craziness is exciting, right? And until you eventually OD on it. But what it's being driven by is you're used to getting just a little bit of love. Or maybe there was so much pain in your childhood that this crazy relationship is an adrenaline high constantly. It's a drug to make you not think about that, to distract you from the real pain that's going on inside of you. In the case of the bland relationship, same thing. Same thing. You may have had a chaotic relationship, or you got negative messaging, or you were left, you were abandoned by your parents. You had some sort of pain, and as a result, you choose safe and stable because it's safe, because they'll never leave me, or because they'll always be there for me, even though there's no exchange of feelings, because that person on the other side of it has their lack of feelings on their side. Or in the crazy relationship, they have their own crap from their childhood, and you're both running crazy together, or you're both being calm and steady and stable together. But here's the even further messed up thing. It doesn't just happen in shitty homes. It happens in homes that are generally good, but the child gets the message nonetheless that you only really get love by giving love, is particularly in the case of this stable, steady one. Or in the case of the toxic one, if you're giving all the love and this person's just taking you for a ride, and the exhilaration of the ride is great, but you're giving. But you were either taught in childhood, In either case, you were taught your feelings don't matter. Who you are doesn't matter. You're not good enough. And then it manifests generally in one or two ways, particularly in the 20s when we really begin looking for mates. And so the solution, you eventually realize, whether it's your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, is that I got to go in and heal that stuff from my childhood, because that's the shit that's been driving this whole messed up equation the entire time. That's the shit I've been running from. That's the shit I've been trying to medicate from with all these crazy relationships and all the breakups and divorces, or this is all the shit I've been trying to avoid by just keeping my life steady and controlled and calm and stable, even though part of me is so enormously unfulfilled. Until you heal that stuff from your childhood, your relationships aren't going to change. It's not going to change because now I found somebody who this, that, or the other thing. No, the change has to happen inside of you, which is why I've made these 700-800 free videos and the free podcast and my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, to change all of this stuff. If you want help with that, go to badasscounseling.com. If not, stay on the ride. See where it gets you. Have a kick-ass day.